TrackMania Grand League, step 3. Coming up right here, ladies and gentlemen. We are going to start this time around on the last track of step 2. This is Descend by Firestorm. We have a 1-minute warm-up here. This is something that did change compared to step 1. So instead of just having like a 10-second warm-up or something, we now have 1 minute. So we can, on most tracks at least...
We lost him, sad.
On most tracks, we can get 1 lap through. On some tracks it is not enough, but on this one we were able to get through most of the tracks, so that's good. But yeah, let me put this down a little bit here. 27. That's pretty good. So we're doing the warm-up here, in case you are unfamiliar with the TrackMania Grand League, if you're watching for the first time, or if you don't know what the hell is happening. This is the 3rd out of 6 races in the first phase of the TrackMania Grand League. The biggest TrackMania competition at the moment, hosted by Ubisoft and Nadeo by the developers. And the top 8 will move on into the playoffs, which will be played by the end of February in Lyon, in France. And the goal is, of course, to qualify for that. After the 2 steps, I was 3rd in the league ranking with 70-something points. 77 or something. So I had a good outcome position going into the step. And we're going to find out how it goes here. We're going to see 6 laps being driven. On the first 3 tracks, it is just about getting the points. Depending on your position at the end, you will be granted points. First place gets 20, second place gets 14 or 12. I forgot, I don't know. I'm bad, I have no brain. But it goes downwards up until 16th place. And starting from map 4, it will be... a bit of a twist, where the bottom 8 drivers will lose all the points they have gotten beforehand. So we're going into the first lap here, and I have had a pretty good start. Descent was a track where I think I placed 4th at the end of step 2 on this track, so my pace was good on this one. I was certainly not doing too bad here. But knowing that now point loss is not a thing, I expected people to push even further. So I knew maybe the time I drove last time wouldn't be enough for the same position. Going into the identity section, as you can see, wanna drop down onto the boosts, get a smooth landing in the slope, and make sure that you perform good enough of air control to keep your car stable enough. After lap 1, I was 6th or something. This was really, really bad. I got a little bit distracted by Marius89. You see it at the top? I was like, why did Marius leave all of a sudden? What happened to him? That kind of caught me off guard a little bit. So I had a very, very wonky beginning into lap number 2, which certainly cost me a little bit of time. But so far, all good. Also, BCP, thank you for resubbing. You still did not downgrade to tier 1. I'm sad. Thank you for the tier 3 reset, BCP. Much love. Thank you. Ah, Marius got a disconnect. Man, that's sad. But at least he was able to join in just in time. So in the dirt, very important that you keep the upper gear. If you get the upper gear, you want to hold it. You don't want to downshift in the optimal case. Got it nicely here in lap 2. So at the moment I had the pace for P6, P7-ish. Going into the identity again for the 2nd out of 6 times. This time a bit better, but small hit, but good recovery. I actually didn't expect to recover it that well. So this only cost me probably a bit more than half a second. So I was still in the race, but that was yeah, a bit shaky. Was trying to land a little bit too smooth in the slope. I landed a little bit too early, as you saw. So that could have gone wrong, but I saved it nicely. So I'm happy with that. And luckily, since it is map 1, it didn't impact my mind too much. Which means I was trying to recover from that. Get my lost time back. 11th place here at the moment. Not the greatest. 1.5 seconds down. So I was pushing it a little bit here in the dirt. That was good. Upper gear. Held it all the way up to 9th. So that was a very, very good sector here by me. Rivos, thank you for subbing, man. That's a smooth beginning into the stream, man. Thank you for the subscription to my channel. I appreciate that, man. Welcome in. Thanks for your support, my dude. So, dropping down here, this was much better. Nice and smooth landing. Turned pretty directly into the corner. So, I knew with this I might gain that one other position. Turning on the interface, I was 4th all of a sudden. So, that was definitely a positive surprise here at the moment. Going from 11th up to 3rd now even. So, that identity was absolutely mwah, like in the children's book. But I didn't want to call it a night here. I wanted more, or I at least wanted to hold my position here. Because 3rd on descent, that is something I would be very, very satisfied with. Going into step number 3, I didn't expect the best. Oh! Ladies and gentlemen. Are we playing TrackMania Nations forever, or what? This almost killed me. Boop! This almost killed me. Unbelievable. It completely ruined my line. Cost me like 0.1, 0.2 maybe. But I was able to save that. But yeah, going into step 3, I was not sure how my performance will pan out. You know, what is my performance going to be worth on map 1 and map 3? Map 1 is descent, map 3 is a cliffhanger. So I wasn't sure how I'm going to fare, because these maps were quite difficult. My trump card map 2, Bunny Hop, which is a map that I almost won in step 2 against Kappa in a very, very close fight. I was trying to get my revenge there, but we're gonna find out more about that later. First of all, gotta continue this pace here, going into lap 5, and I was 5th. So that fits at least. Bit of a slow drift here, terrible exit speed. And I had Tween behind me, I had Kappa in front of me. Almost crashed here. I think I released a little bit. You gotta be kidding. Another new sub. Now I need to figure out how to pronounce that. Xyle. Xyle. Yes. My dude, thanks for the Twitch Prime sub. Welcome. That is very kind. I welcome you with open arms to the team. Exile, maybe.
You, it's a 2-monther for me.
Feel free to hit me up with the proper pronunciation. But yeah, we have lap 5 and I was actually 4th. So I kept my pace and I didn't really lose any time to the leader, who was, I believe, Carl Jr. at this point. Who would have thought? Yeah. So trying to keep up here, a bit wonky, but good landing here on the boost. Good grip. Good grip management. Bit too much on 2 wheels here. Holy shit, you guys. What is happening? My name is Jeff, also a new sub. That is actually unbelievable. Thank you, Jeff. That is very kind of you, Mr. Jeff. Welcome in. Welcome, welcome. And Blue Gamer also subbing for 2 months. I appreciate that. But yeah, let's go into lap 6 here. It was, I think, a pretty tight battle. And my pace, very satisfied with this. I have made pretty much no mistakes, except for that one shaky identity and the Randstein bug on the outside. He said Randstein! Oh my god, you're so bad at Englando language! Before you comment in the YouTube section, Randstein is the correct word in the English TrackMania vocabulary books. Thank you for listening. So here I was 3rd. I don't think I turned my interface back on again. Oh, that was close. Oh my god, I almost hit there. I almost threw it away. That was mildly close. But then popping it down here, got a nice nosedive. And I knew this identity was good enough to perhaps keep my pace. I was 3rd at this point. I was 1.8 behind Carl Jr. So the pace was kind of similar. We had similar lap times. I think the major time loss, of course, came from the mistake in the identity. But here we go with a 3rd place on map 1. Ladies and gentlemen, your favorite streamer has actually done it. A 3rd place by Riolo TM TrackMania with a 1.75 second deficit. Carl Jr. won. Who would have thought? Scrappy with a very good 2nd place. Then we have Bren on 4th, Roland on 5th, Matt on 6th, Massa, Kappa, Peck, Then for the double-digit positions, Tween on 10, Orel on 11, Spam on 12, Papu on 13, followed by Coco, Revolution, and Marcin, who got last, unfortunately. So, definitely much better of a start into Step 1, or into Map 1 of Step 3. Getting 12 points here out of the first map. Very, very satisfied. And this, of course, boosted my confidence here, because 12 points going into seemingly my favorite map. Bunny Hop was a good outcome position. So 12 points here, very nice. Matt got the fastest lap time here. He got a 1:15.49, which is disgustingly fast. And with that, he got 2 extra points. The fastest lap time will get 2 extra points. Matt snacks them in here for Space Station Gaming and will get 10 points on map 1. But yeah, very happy with this performance. I matched my practice pace pretty much. And doing this in this, yeah, kind of heated situation / scenario, I'm very happy with that. So, good step, or a good beginning into the step here. In the last 2 steps, I always had kind of a wonky beginning. In step 1, map 1 was pretty bad. Step 2, map 1, I died. So yeah, finally, I had a smooth beginning into the match. Also, Sergey Karamazov, thank you for subbing as well. That is the next new subscriber in the channel. I don't think I ever had so many new subs in a long time. Like, in a row. That is crazy. Very kind. Very kind. So here we go with Bunny Hop. Map number 2. A map I felt very, very comfortable with. I did hold a very good lap time here. Could have been a single lap world record actually. I had a 109.20 something as my fastest single lap. So I had the pace. I knew how to go fast. I drove very well in step 2 on this track. So I wanted to avenge myself for what happened in step 2, where I got wrecked by Kappa, who at the end of the day won this track in step 2. So I wanted to get back and win this track. Let's see if that's gonna happen. What's my overlay status? I have no status that I can communicate right now. Still no overlay to be found. Going into the first half here, or the first quarter of the lap. Good beginning. Taking it a bit too conservative. I noticed that. In the warm-up I drove a pretty good pace, so I felt comfortable. But here it did not start very well, for my standards at least. So here I was only 14th, and I couldn't believe my eyes. I actually couldn't believe my eyes. I was really slow in lap 1. And this of course already shortened, or it made my chances slimmer to actually win this map, being in a 0.8 deficit. Not even 1 lap in. That kind of hurt my motivation a little bit. So I had to push. I had to push already. And will this work out?
Crazy races today, especially the last one. TMGL is exciting to watch.
Turbo with 95 bits. Ipno name game with another fresh subscription. I have no words. Unbelievable. And Darksiders Bear with 100 bits. Thank you very much. So a bit of a better pace now going into lap 2. I was in a 0.8 deficit and now it was only 0.5. So I had the pace. And this really boosted my confidence again, you know? But airtime at the top of the hill. And this happened way too often in the last days. Mainly because I just haven't played this track a lot anymore after we played it for the first time in step 2. Which in hindsight maybe was a mistake. But I felt confident on this track. So I was like, yeah, I'm not gonna need a lot of warming up on this. But I made this mistake at the top of the hill too often. It happened multiple times. Something that usually never happened. So it kind of pissed me off. And I found myself again in a 0.6 deficit. So it went from 0.8 to 0.6 to 0.2 back to 0.6. That was kind of fucking up my mentality, to be quite fair. Because then again, this was my favorite track and I wanted to win this. And seeing my chances of winning getting fucked like this, that didn't help. That really didn't help. But yeah, still not over. A good jump into the identity here, but slightly too far to the right. The aimbot was not completely toggled. Also, what the fuck is this? Can anyone explain what them fuck happened here? Why do I have a lap time of -5 minutes? Hello? Am I that bad? Or am I that good? How is that not the fastest lap time? Unbelievable. 1 second down, only in 8th place. And for those who follow me for a long time, my ego is big. So this is not good for my ego at the moment. But I knew it was still possible. It was only, quote-unquote, lap 4. And I knew if I bust out some juicy 109 laps, I could still win the race. Taking it easy here. A bit slower than what would be optimal. Accidental cam change. Almost clipped the hole. You see, my lines are getting shaky. And you see, I'm trying to push it, but it doesn't work. I am 6th. It's not bad. But on this track, I really fucking wanted to win. This was one of the only chances where I could actually win a track in the Grand League. 110.3. Caught up. Nice. Not so nice of a drift though, but okay. Still in the race. Still in the race. It was still doable. 0.85 behind. The suspense is getting bigger with every turn. Good dirt. Getting the upper gear. No slide up. Caught up. 62. I gained 2/10 on the leader in the dirt. That was sick. My E-penis went very far vertical again. Or horizontal. No. Yes, horizontal. Sorry, I don't speak geometry. Lap 5. Not the greatest wallbang again. And I still had the 0.6 deficit. But it was doable. It was doable. Bad line here though. I tried to neo slide, didn't work, had to cancel. Almost hit the wall. That was a really, really crazy save, but I lost half a second. We can maybe take a look at it again, because that was really scary. So I steered in too late here. This is basically where the whole thing fell apart. I steered in to the left too late. Also braked too late. So my entire setup for this section was essentially fucked. Almost hit the pole on the outside. You cannot fit a piece of paper between car and the pillar. That was very close. Fuck. I hope I can stop at the right time. Yes, I mean, you get the point. That was close. I have no idea how I survived that, but I survived. Then, I steered in to the right too early. Yeah? I steered to the right too early. Which normally is fine. Because you can save this line. If you steer too early, you can save it by tapping the brake for a short time, so you drift. Which gives you a bit of a wider line. Yeah, nice. I didn't drift. I no-slid. So my absolute cat reflexes allowed me to steer away from the wall, back into the turn, without making contact with anything. My cat reflexes were on point. Look at that. No slide. Oh! Da. Insane. It cost me half a second, but I take this anytime over crashing into the wall, especially in that section. So yeah, here at this point, I was like, fuck. I almost hit again. Going into lap 5, the chances are getting slimmer and slimmer as I was now 1.5 seconds behind, I think. And that hurt my mentality. It really, really dragged me down. I was 1.7 seconds behind. Still on P6, but yeah. Not good. Not good at all. Trying to catch up on the dirt again. Getting the upper gear, no slide up. Caught up. 1.3 seconds. To the right, to the left, to the right. Check. Wallbang, check. No air, check. Spam behind me, check. 6th place, check. Had to release again, check. Almost the same mistake again, check. My timing was definitely off for that part. So I got overtaken by Spam. I was still 6th. But yeah. Going into lap 6, by the way. Coming up now. I turned my interface on to check my lap. And I saw 5 out of 6. I was like, huh? I thought it was already lap 6. I was so confused and I stared at this for too long that I hit my forehead. I was staring at this because I thought this is a bug. But it wasn't. So I hit my fucking forehead. Bonk. Ding dong. And that's it. I was so confused by the lap counter. Because I know sometimes the interface in lap script, it sometimes doesn't update properly. But this time it was correct. I dropped down to 11th place and I wanted to fucking smash my table. And I did. I actually did smash my table. I did not record my mic, which is probably for the better. But after the respawn, I slammed my hand on the desk and then steered back. You saw it. Bonk. Respawn. Hit. Gamepad back and steer. It completely fucked me up. This was my most stupid mistake I have done in a good while. On this track, this shouldn't have happened. I was so good on this track, it shouldn't have happened, it happened. I'm so dumb. I have no brain. It's ridiculous. How am I alive? I don't understand sometimes. So yeah. I was mildly devastated at this point. I just wanted to get it over with. Maybe hoping for someone to make a mistake. To gain 1 position. But I was only 10th. And I saw Bren, who was leading the majority of the race, is now dropping down to 12th place. And look who profited from that. Yes, it is Solary Carl Jr., who once again got 1st place. Very nice. I spoke to Carl after the step, and I have called him out a lucker box. 7:12.47. This is the slowest 6-lapper I have driven since I discovered the track. So yeah, needless to say, I am not happy with this. However, Carl Jr. wins another €100 with a 7:05.40, which is a good time. I'm gonna give him that. Papu on 2nd, Matt on 3rd, super happy about that. Spam on 4th, Aurel on 5th, Tween on 6th, followed by Pack, Scrappy, Coco, myself, Marcin, Bren, Kappa, Revo, Roland and Massa for the top 16. So let's take a look here at the score as soon as it updates. So I have gotten a good position on map 1 and an absolutely atrocious position on map 2. Which, at the end of the day, puts me at P5. With 17 points, tied with Gamers Origin Papu. So, not bad, but I could have been at least 2nd. No, not at least. I could have been 2nd. I couldn't have been 1st, but I could have been 2nd. So, a couple points given away here. Sad. Let's move on to the next track. This was Cliffhanger. I'm gonna skip the warm-up because nobody psychologically cares. Cliffhanger, map 3. Here was where we have seen a couple of upsets in step 2, where players like Papu or Carl Jr. both lost massive amount of points. I, however, played my game, and I have gotten, I believe, 4th or 5th, I don't know. So I knew, okay, this track could maybe go a similar way if I just drive. So let's see how I drive. I didn't have the greatest entry into lap 1 again. I have the problem that I do start a bit too conservatively. I start a bit too slow. I need to fix that. But the thing is, in the back of my mind, I don't want to risk in lap 1 and then die in lap 1. That's the worst. You know, I want to avoid that. But also on the other hand, the way that you get into the race kinda depends, or it determines your mentality for the rest of the race. If that makes any sense. It's like a good breakfast. When you have a good breakfast, your day is gonna be good. And the same is here. When you have a good lap 1, you know, nice. You can do it. But this lap 1 felt a little bit shaky. Even though I was on P4, I drove a bit shaky. But yeah, good start either way, looking at the results. So let's keep going. What if you don't eat breakfast? Yeah, then you can go to sleep again. Then you don't have a day. Yes. You only have a... I don't know. I can't think of anything cool right now. But, good pace so far. Gotta give me that. I am on 4th place at the moment. With only half a second behind Tween, who was an absolute monster on this track. He has a sick pace. On 1 lap, on 6th lap, Tween is up there. So it was no surprise to see Tween at the top of the food chain here at the moment. But a 4th place for me, cool. I'll take that any day. Safe landing, chuck. Drop down to 5th, no problem. Because as long as I don't crash, or don't fuck up majorly, I'll be happy. And that goes for every track. Except for tracks where I feel overly confident, like the previous one. But my mentality for the Grand League is always that I do want to place in the top 8. I do want to drive a clean race without further mistakes. I don't want to win. I know I almost never can win because the others are simply faster. But I want to make the best out of it. And the best in this scenario is of course always 8th or better, you know? Because otherwise you lose points. Also, I didn't mention that yet, but now we're in map 4. So if you place 9th or worse, you will lose every single point that you have gotten. Every single one of them. But right now it looks good. I am on 4th place still, keeping my pace intact. When you toggle interface on, do you always look at the bottom or also the middle of the screen? When I toggle the interface, I usually check the bottom right to see what position I'm at and where the people in front of me. So in this case, I check who is ahead, who is behind, and what's the gap. That's the only thing that I care about.
Hope it went well.
That's the only thing I care about. I care about my position and about where my opponents are at the moment. I don't really look to the left. I could also just disable the whole tab to the left. But for the sake of the VOD, I think it's interesting. So I kept it open. Identity, looking good. Went up to 4th. We have lost someone. Let me actually see. Who did we lose here? I think it was Massa. Massa? Yeah, we lost Massa. So Massa died. And I gained 1 position. Kuso, thank you for the resub, man. Now that you are here and you couldn't watch, you can watch my recap of Step 3. Hello, Alpha Dream. Hello, hello. Question from the chat. Do you think you can be faster for the playoff? Oh, wait, this is map 3. Apologies. Yeah, this is map 3. I thought this is map 4. I'm stupid. My bad. But yeah, do I think I can be faster for the playoff? I think I can, yeah. The way I drive mostly in the Grand League is that I drive fast enough to be in a good position, but I don't risk it all. And in the playoffs, where you will not play in an endurance format, but you will play in a normal cup mode, where tracks are just 1 lap, I will definitely adapt my playstyle, and I will go faster. Alright, next one. I went up to... Wait, I got second. Whiff! Damn! Second place for Riolo right here, ladies and gentlemen. I couldn't believe my eyes. Second place, man. Right behind Tween, who had an insane pace. Turned my interface on to check whether this is actually real life, and it is real life. I was second, 1.3 behind. Pack behind me with 0.1, Bren another 0.1 behind, and then we had Spam, who was already 1.5 seconds behind on 5th place. So I realized that. My calculations in the brain, they went like beep 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 beep, and they were like, yes Riolo, you can save. And if nothing bad happens, you will probably stay around that place. But will Riolo's computer do this? Or not? Damn, Ben, 8 bits. I would almost call that a byte. So here we go. I got passed by Pack. But I didn't really care about that too much. Because then again, I just want to drive my race. I don't really care if someone beats me. On this track, I just wanted to survive. That was a very conservative drift, by the way. I released like 3 times midway because I drifted too little. But yeah, all good in the hood here. And your favorite gamer is still on P3. Going into, I think, the last lap now. Putting the interface on, lap 6. I saw the gap up to Pack was already getting too big, so there was no point risking anymore to get any extra position. That made no sense at all. But players behind me had to be taken with caution. Good third line. I had Bren behind me, 0.3 I think. So I had to get somewhat of a good identity in the end. Here we go. Better drift than last time. Coming up to the last jump, tap the brake, switch to cam 3, turn the car and zoop it into the finish line. 7:10.87. This is one of my very fast 6-lappers. So I'm super satisfied with the 6-lapper. My personal best I think was a 7:09. So I was only 1 second off my best 6-lapper in this scenario. I'm super happy about this. And third place, PogChamp. Very nice. Very nice. Tween wins with a 7:08.89. Very nice. Pack on second. Then we have Bren behind me. Followed by Spam, Orwell, Matt, Coco, Carl Jr. 16.3 seconds behind. So the gaps were quite big. We can take a look at it maybe now before I put off the interface again. So the gaps were big. The top 7, 6.6 seconds apart from each other. But then the gap started to become pretty big. Coco 10 seconds down. Carl Jr. 16 seconds down. Revel 18. Scrappy 21. And then all the way to the bottom we have Marcin, who was 35 seconds behind. And that gives you an idea how difficult this track is, especially given these circumstances. It's really difficult to survive this ending. Oh, wait. Wait. Did Massa drive back? Wait. This is Massa. Massa going backwards. Okay. Hilarious. So Marcin actually going up to 15th place here. And we see Massa actually barely able to even cross the finish line and gets last. At least in style. Yeah, I mean, gotta give him that. If you fuck up, then at least you can make the best out of it and entertain the people here for the Grand League. So I was checking the chat here. A bit of French. Oh la la, putain, très bien, oui oui. GG, NT, TY, GG, oui oui. And the current score at the moment looks as follows. We have Carl Jr. on first place with 45 points. Tween 33rd, no, 33 points. And I went up to 3rd with 29. That is pretty good. Then again, knowing there was room for more. There was potentially room for a 1st place at this point if I won the 2nd map, but I didn't. Yes, I was tied with Matt, who so far played absolutely out of his mind. Matt, really cool. 29 points. Pack 28. Brent 26. Scrappy 24. Spam 23. Aurel Papu 21. Coco Roland 14. Kappa 12. Revolution 10. Massa 9. Marcin 7. So I was disappointed by Kappa. Only 12 points. Revo disappointing. Massa disappointing. But yeah, that's what it is. So now, for real, we're gonna go to map 4. And this is where the points can be lost. So I am gonna skip to this track. We had a 5-minute break where I had a short interview with the fellow streamer Virtual. Still 2 minutes left. Alright, let's do that. Tsaki, 50 Bucky. There you go. So here we begin Mini XXL. A track I don't like too much, to be quite fair. I was never a big fan of this one. I was able to slowly pick up the pace in the last days before today, Sunday. So I was practicing this one in particular on Saturday and on Friday because I was feeling a bit slow and I wanted to, you know, make sure that I have enough of a pace to keep my points. Because now we are in map 4 and now you can lose points if you get 9th or worse. So it was do or die on this track. I felt comfortable during practice. Definitely thought I could make it. But it was still a scary track. We have a dirt section here. Pretty slow. Want to keep the gear. Don't go too tight on the insides. Catching the bump a little bit is fine. Had to massively release here. This was already the first, like, fuck up. Or big fuck up. And it sent me all the way to last place. I was last already. And you can probably imagine. According to what I said about having a good start into the race. About having a good lap 1. This is exactly not what I wanted to have. I did not want to be last. Halfway into the lap, already 0.5 down. I didn't want that. So I knew, shit, I had to drive faster. People are actually good at this. So I got scared at this point. I got scared and I got driven by emotions at this point. I got driven by emotions and I knew I had to push it. And then again, I didn't feel 100% confident. It was enough. But yeah, it was a weird situation at this point. But it was only lap 2, so I just kept going, you know? The gap wasn't too big. If I bust out a few good laps, I could be back in the green, you know? The winner mentality didn't disappear after that lap 1. No, absolutely not. I still knew it was possible. 6 laps were remaining. Anything can happen, man. Anything can happen. Everybody can make a mistake. And I did already go up to 12th place. So that was good. I thought now I was in the business. Now I am in the flow that was required to keep up with the good drivers. So I kept going. And I monitored my gap as well to the leader. It was 1.6 seconds at this point on 12th place. So my goal was to kind of keep it that way and not lose too much time to the leader. Easier said than done on this track. For those who are wondering, this identity section, the block that you touch there, if you're maybe not so familiar, if you maybe only played TMNF or something, this block right here is one of the blocks that are giving you no grip. It is a no grip block, so you have very, very limited grip to work with. You can still steer, but you need to completely oversteer. You need to steer almost 90 degrees to even get somewhere, or in this case, you have to completely spin your car to get around the corner, which is why you do this awkward drift like this. Just for the record here. I went up to 11th, so that gave me another confidence boost that I had the pace at the identity section at least, which makes up for quite some time. I was 0.5 behind green. I checked that right there. So I knew everything was possible. Keep going. Keep pushing. People will make mistakes. That was my mentality. But another bad drift pushed me even further. Didn't feel that drift at all. And also this left-hander in the dirt. Need to work on that. That was pretty shit. But I went up to 10th. So once again I gained 1 position. Keep fighting here. Only lap 3. Gotta keep going, man. So looking at how much back and forth there was between position 10 to 12 or 13, I knew it was close. Very slow identity here. Went too high and had to release, I think, 2 times in order not to change into the upper gear, which is something you really want to avoid. And still around that 10th place. I didn't really get anywhere. And that kind of pissed me off. I was in lap 4 now. And I noticed I was always 10th, 11th, 12th, something like that. I didn't move any further. I lost to the leader. I was like, fuck, what is happening, man? I'm gonna lose my points. I had almost 30 points in my backpack. I was like, nah, man, don't let this happen in map 4 already. I don't want that, man. So at this point, I panicked. I panicked a little bit. I was not so sure. Lost a bit of that confidence. Even though, then again, in the back of the mind, just gotta keep going. But it still hurt me, low-key. I checked very often, yes, fam. I checked very often to see where I'm at. And I think that is also something I should stop doing. Because on the one hand, it's a distraction, and on the other hand, it's not really necessary as well. I just need to drive my game. So that was a good identity, but I still stayed at the same pace. Nothing happened. I didn't get anywhere. Coming up to the last 2 final laps, it was only 1300 between me on P10 and the guy who was on 8th. But then this happened. I got too wide, hit the Randstein. It carried me all the way to the outside. And that was bad. That was a time loss I could not afford in this situation anymore. I could not afford that crap. So I got pissed at myself. And when you let emotions carry your driving, it often doesn't end well. But will it end well? We're gonna find out. 12th place now. I dropped even further. But it was still that half second. That damn half second. Fuck. So half a second had to be caught up in the last lap. And on top of that, maybe hope that someone's gonna make a mistake. So many things had to go right, which made me decide I need to push. Lap 6, I had to go all in. I had nothing to lose. I was 12th. And, yeah. To be continued. Bonk. And there we go. Minus 29. Juicy respawn all the way to the start. And at this point, I really didn't want to be here. That is a juicy hole-in-one. I think I will consider a golf career at this point. But, oh, man. I got so pissed at myself, you have no idea. I'm a self-critical person, especially when it comes to TrackMania. And I knew this was not necessary. But it happened. It fucking happened. And I was dead last. Last place, 9.5 seconds behind. And look at it, it was still so close. I was still well in this battle. I was in the battle. I could have been there. I could have maybe kept my points. But no, I decided to fucking hit the wall on the outside. Fuck. I had a great amount of confidence going into step 3. And then it got completely shattered by this mistake. Another one. Fuck that shit. I was so done, man. I was so done. I just wanted this shit to be over. And of course it happened on this track. Of course on Mini XXL. I had my doubts about this and my doubts came true. So 29 points down the fucking toilet. But then, when I take a look at the pace, let's look at it from an objective standpoint, because the emotions are now gone. So let's take a look at it with an objective perspective here. So, my personal best on 6 laps was a 7:17 point whatever. Scrappy drove a 7:15. That is mental. Papu, 7:16. Massa, 7:17 low. So these were completely out of my range already. I don't care, that's fine. Spam, 3.3 behind. This was a pace I could have matched. But these times are very fast. For some reason, people were quick on this track. I honestly didn't expect that. And that was also what contributed to my doubts. I wasn't sure what people are actually going to drive on this track. What pace are these people going to have? Especially the people who don't practice with me, with Spam, with Massa. You know, we always practice together. But, yeah, some people don't. And, yeah, people have been very, very, very fast. Also, what the fuck is this? Marcin! 0.0... How much was this, guys? 0.00, 0.06. I mean, look at this. This race was incredibly close. Was it 1,000th? Oh my god, man. Oh no. That is insane. That is insane. But yeah, looking at the times, I knew I would have had a hard time regardless of the mistakes that I did. So now I'm just gonna look at it, get back to the drawing board and get faster. But yeah, minus 29. This fucking hurts, man. I had good expectations from this step, and I was very confident I'm gonna stay top 8 in every map. After the weird map 2, I was like, okay, shit happens, doesn't matter, because the maps where it matters, map 4, 5, and 6, they're still coming, all good. And then everything died already on map 4. And this was very, like, I was really pissed at myself. I got last, I made a mistake where it shouldn't have happened, my pace wasn't good enough in first place, so a lot of things that really made me go mad. I was so disappointed in myself. I was so disappointed. So, going into map 5 and 6, I had to change my approach. I had to go all in and save what was there to be saved. Because I had 1 point only. Which meant risking was, you know, it was doable. I could risk now. Because I had only 1 point. So if I lose again, fuck it. I had only 1 point anyway. It can't get worse than 1 point. And on map 5, I knew I had the pace. Map 5, I used to hold the 6-lap world record until I got snacked by Scrappy, I think. But I knew I had the pace. This could have been a good track for me. This track called Directionless, built by MD Point. So a little bit of confidence was still there in my heart. But after what happened, I was like, meh, dude, this is not what I deserve, man. Or, of course I deserved it after all. I crashed like a fucking stupid idiot. But this is not what I should have done, you know. So I went into this track with lower of a heartbeat, which is one thing. And of course with the mindset of not losing anything anymore. So off we go with map 5 of 6, Directionless. Very cool track in my opinion. If you already noticed, maybe for those who are not familiar with the Grand League or with these tracks, every track has a so-called identity section, which, as the name already suggests, helps to identify a map. So it's one part of the map or parts of the maps that stick out. And on this track, there is one block in particular which makes up for this identity. We have already passed it. Maybe you noticed, maybe not. It is a block similar to map 4, which in this case doesn't kill your grip, but it kills your entire steering. You can only go straight as soon as you touch that block. We're gonna see one of them come up right after this quarter pipe jump. So you see it right here. you see a steering wheel crossed out. So as soon as you touch it, you cannot steer anymore. You are a passenger. You can still slow down and accelerate, but you cannot steer. So you need to go in a straight line to the checkpoint where you will regain the steering. Just for the record here. And yeah, knowing that I had the pace, I felt pretty comfortable with my lap 1. I think I was 4th or something. I will check here. Yeah, I was 4th. Not the greatest lap 1. I had a 1:11.81 first lap. I had lap times that were like 0.5 faster or something. So not the greatest start on paper, but all good. I mean, it's a completely different format, so all good. Lap 2. This turn is very, very difficult to get right. Two parts that make this part difficult. The first part is the entry into the turn. It can happen that you no-slide because of the landing and the car. The car is set up in a weird way, so sometimes you can actually get a no-drift, which is super bad in this case. And the other aspect is holding the upper gear during the drift, which I unfortunately did not manage here in lap 2. The upper gear is important to maintain more speed, especially going over that long stretch. So I unfortunately didn't keep the upper gear there. Cost me a bit of time, but I was still well in the race. I was like 0.3 behind, so everything was really good here. Bren on first and Spam on second. Spam and me were really popping off on this track, so I was happy to see Spam up there. We had a very, very similar pace. Our PBs in 6 laps, they were like 0.5 apart from each other. So we had a very similar pace, and we had similar lines as well. So here, going into lap 3, I was actually going up to 2nd place. And I was considering, am I gonna try to contest Bren, who was only 0.3 ahead? I knew I had the pace, so could very well just go for it. But then on the other hand, the good angel on one side of my shoulder, you know, there's the angel and the devil on your shoulders, right? The devil said, go risk, fuck it. And the angel said, don't risk and get the points. Because if you think about it, there are still 2 maps left. I have lost my points, but still 2 maps left. So in the ideal case, if I get first on both tracks, I can still get 40 points out of the step. Or 41 actually, 41 points. So still a sick amount of points. That is more than what other people have after 3 steps. Ah. This was the devil on my right side of the shoulder. I'm not sure if this was seen in any of the casts. I landed on the barrier. I almost gave my life for this one moment. I have survived. I think my heartbeat went from a solid 80 BPM to 800 at that moment. But yeah, all good in the hood. Let's forget about this and focus again. Lap 4. I lost a bit of time there. But yeah, gotta keep going. So yeah, the angel on my shoulder said, keep going, get as many points as you can. And if you don't lose them on map 6, you are still gonna end up with a good position at the end of the step. Because when you think about it, in step 1, I managed to get 4th at the end with 21 points. Quote unquote only 21 points. So looking at this scenario here in step 3, 40 points would very likely be a top 3 situation at the end of the step. So the good side of me told me, just get the points, man. Really. Just get the points, okay? But will I do it? That's the question. Good stuff here. And I drove a 107.8. On a good day, I drive 107 mid consistently. But you cannot really compare a scenario where I just, you know, play, practice with no pressure, and then this. That is not comparable. Anyone who draws a connection to these two scenarios is pretty stupid. So I was 0.6 behind at this point. Bren, Scrappy, and Spam in front of me. While a 4th place is good, I kind of knew I could have gone a bit faster, but yeah, just kept going here. This was not so amazing. Good quarter pipe. Almost hit. That was pretty scary, but with this I was actually able to pass Spam. So I got up to 3rd. Another pretty scary jump here. I don't know why I keep doing this. But yes. Going up again. Spin around, 180, switch to cam, see where the fuck he go. And Monka W. This was close. I had an offset to the left. And I was like, fuck. No. No, 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 no. But it was all good. It was all good. It was a bit scary, but all good. Because the thing about these no-steer things, there's so long of a straight, and you basically see death coming right upon you already. Like, you approach the part, and you see that you're gonna die. It's like foreshadowing your death. It's the worst. It's the fucking worst. But I survived. Hop. Safe and sound. Last time through this shit, I was 0.9 behind, so absolutely no way for me to win the race anymore. But I had a hungry Dutch driver in the name of Diffuse Kit Spam, who was lurking in the shadows. So I still had to, you know, get it somewhat of a good end, which I did. And I was back in the race with a 3rd place again. So I got 3rd on map 1. I got 3rd on map 3. Wait, did I? No. Yes. 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 I did. So I got 3rd again. 3rd seems to be my lucky charm. Then I died pretty badly on map 4, but yes. So far the trend seems to be that I have a very good pace, and it is enough to fight for the top positions. Or I crash like someone who played the game for 2 weeks. But yeah, at the moment we have Bren. Bren who won the race with a 650, which is a very good time. My PB was a 649 mid. So great pace by Bren. Scrappy on 2nd, me on 3rd, Spam on 4th, Coco, Tween, Massa, Carl Jr. 54 points on the hot seat. Carl Jr. was actually in the red, as far as I've been told. Carl Jr. was very far behind, but he was somehow able to crawl back to 8th place. Scripted. You heard it here first. So Spam kept his points. Scrappy kept his points. Scrappy, someone who threw a lot on step 1 and 2. So Scrappy on his way to actually get very, very good points, which he desperately needed, and which he was, like, capable of doing, you know? But he always messed it up. So Scrappy with 46 points, plus 14. Plus 2. So 62 points for Scrappy going into map 6. We will see that later anyway. But yeah. Matt lost his points. Revolution, Papu, Rollin, Aurel lost his points. Kappa lost his points. Marcin and Peck. So the score now looks as follows. We have actually a switch at the top. Carl Jr. has been defeated. He has now dropped down to 2nd place with 60 points. Scrappy with 62. Tween remains at 3rd with 48. Spam up to 4th, 43. Massa 28. Bren 24. I got up to 7th after being last. We have 13 points for me at the moment. Then we have Coco 11. Matt with 5, Revo 5, Papu, Rollin with 4, Aurel, Kappa 3, Marcin 2, and Pack with 1. One final track is remaining, ladies and gentlemen. And it is a track that most of you should be familiar with. It is a track that has a very notorious identity. And this name is Up and Down. You can see it right here. This is a cluster of blocks of downhills and uphills. I have actually said my prayers here in the chat. May the Lord be with you. We had a couple of amens in the chat to pray that this track is going to hold up strong. Up and down. Map 6, the final one here, with a lot of big points to be potentially thrown away. Let's skip this shit. Or actually, let me just see. So we have big boy points. Scrappy 62, Carl 60, Tween 48, Spam 43. A lot of big points. And these points are so worthy. They are so important. Will they keep the points? We will find out now. Here we go. Already beginning with a scary jump after this right-hander, where you do want to angle up yourself in a way that you get through the pillars without hitting them with optimal speed. Pretty hard already to do that. So this track has been criticized by a few people for not being exactly what people want to drive or what people want to see, especially due to the identity, which we will see at a later point in a few seconds. I held my upper gear in the dirt, which is sick. So I knew my beginning into lap 1 was insane. I was second or something, I don't know. So I had a sick start. I was like, yes dude, this is exactly what I needed. Because remember what I said earlier. After having lost my points on map 4, I could still get a decent result at the end of the step by playing good on map 5 and 6. And it looked good. I turned the interface on. I was second. So, good start for me. Clutch. Pretty close right there. Not exactly what I wanted, but it worked. We're going up. To the left we go. Want to keep the speed. Jump over the barrier. Or not. And at this point, I was like, not again. Not again, man. Why? Why did I do that mistake? I was so confident that this is gonna work. In practice, I barely had any trouble with this shit. But now I of course found myself in the pressure situation. I needed to perform. I needed to get my points. And then something in my head just didn't work and I made that mistake. My mistake, let me actually see what happened. Let me see, why the fuck did I die? Ah, yeah, I see my mistake. I see my mistake. I counter-steered. I steered to the right too much before I left off. So you see, I'm straightening out my car. And this was what killed me. I was just too far right. And then here, at this moment, I was like, no, dude. No, man, no. And there I went down the abyss. However, you gotta give me some props. This shit worked. So I was actually not even last. The entire German squad was last with Bren. We all fucked up in lap 1. We were all trash. Fucking Deutschland. Wir sind scheiße. Look at it. So I actually had to rub my eyes. I had to rub my eyes. I died so badly and I was not last. Massa, Bren and Rebel were all behind me. Actually unbelievable. But yeah, once again, this put such a big dent into my confidence. Because I knew I had the pace. I had almost world record pace on 6 laps on this track. So I knew what to do. I knew how to be fast. And then that shit happened. It fucked me up just as much as on map 4. And just as much as on map 2. It really pissed me off, man. But then, on the other side, you need to keep in mind, I will not be the only idiot who's gonna crash there. There will be 5 more laps where people can die. So I kept my head cool. I kept my head cool and I kept driving. Because I knew I could maybe still keep my relatively small amount of points intact. Wait, Carl, did I land on the Randstein? I didn't actually see. Yeah, maybe we're both lucky. Maybe this is why we have so many points in the league. Maybe it's all luck. We don't know. But yeah, gotta stay positive here, man. Gotta stay positive because anything can happen. Keep driving, Riolo. Keep fucking driving. Still 13th place, which isn't really a surprise. Gotta keep going, man. You said to this point that I might still make it because I have the mentality. Aw, thank you, Marius. That was maybe what I needed. That is maybe what I needed. But yeah, I guess I do have a strong mentality when it comes to things like this. But I still overthink situations like this. I mean, listen to how much I say about situations like this. I overthink a lot, and you know, it sucks when you can do so much better, but it just doesn't happen due to one thing. It sucks, man. But yeah, gotta keep pushing, man. P12, lap 4. People are not dying. I was like, guys, why are you not dying? Nobody made mistakes. I gained 1 position and that was Tween. So only Tween dropped down so much. In lap 4. So in 3 laps I gained 1 position. That was worrying, to say the least. But then again, gotta keep pushing, man. Gotta keep pushing, bro. And I pushed. I pushed into the wall. Fucking stupid mistake. Again, cost me half a second probably. But I stayed on 11th here. Oh, spam. Holy shit. I think you are the top point loss guy right now, yeah. Time to redeem yourself, bro. You got this. That's a bit wonky here. This approach was a bit too tight for my liking, but it was good. And you can see, while I was dropping down, I always had my HUD on, because I was low-key hoping that I'm gonna see someone drop down from all the way to the top into the red. I was low-key hoping for someone to die really bad. And in this case, it didn't happen. Or even though it kinda did, I went up to 10th. So people died. I went up to 9th even. Pog. I went up to 9th. Here we go, man. All of a sudden, I was almost back in the green, even though I died like an amateur player with no colors in his nickname. Look at me go, man. 9th. I was only 1.2 seconds away from the green position. So at this point, I knew, keep driving. Don't die, you little shit. You have made so many mistakes, don't do another one. But will I make another mistake? That's the question here, ladies and gentlemen. Zoop. This upwards jump can be tricky in many ways. Sometimes, when you go up the ramp, the car bugs to the left or to the right, and you can't control it. And sometimes it throws you out of the track, you know? So that's pretty shit. Almost hit the outside here, by the way. Pretty risky business. But we're going into lap 6, and what happens? I couldn't believe my eyes. I turned the interface on 3,000 times because I saw something with Riolo in the green. And indeed, I was in the green. I was 7th. I was 7th. Papu dropped to red. Coco dropped to red. And all of a sudden, I was 7th. I was freaking 7th. How amazing is that? So I think in the upcoming jump, I checked the distance to 9th place to see, do I have to risk or not? Or can I save? and still keep my position. Scary. So, yeah. Here at this point after the dirt, I think here is where I was finally able to check. I was 10 seconds behind, Matt was 11 seconds behind, and Papu was another 0.6 behind. So the gap wasn't that big. This was 2 seconds. So if I fuck up, maybe just a little bit, somewhere at the uphill or something, I'm gonna be in the red again. So I had to get somewhat of a good ending to keep my hard-earned points. Here we go. One more jump. Small push to the left. All good in the hood. Slowing down. Almost hit the wall on the outside. Ah, the nerves. Safe. Ah! Ah! And we're in. And I actually got 6th. I passed Matt by a 10th. Can we talk about the last jump actually? Can we talk about this? Ah. So I almost killed myself again. But I made it. And I kept my 13 points. Which should have been much more than that, but yeah. That's what it is. That's the game. So I kept my points. 13 points plus the 6 points for the 6th place. So altogether, not too bad. Carl Jr. wins. And he is going to finish with a 7:13. Which is an okay pace. But we have driven times that were 7:10. So, not the greatest, not the worst. Carl wins in front of Aurel. Very nice. Aurel had the world record, I think, on the 6th lapper. So, nice to see him up there. Marcin, P3. O Kurva. Very nice. Pack, P4. Scrappy. The man did it. 62 points, and he didn't lose them. What is this? Christmas? Congrats to Scrappy. I keep my points. Matt keeps his points. Papu, I'm sure he is not too happy about this either, but he keeps his points as well. Massa, minus 28. Tween, minus 48. Kappa, minus 3. Bren, minus 24. Coco, minus 11. Roland, minus 4. Spam, again, with minus 43 points. This is really sad. And Revel with minus 5. So, you hate to see it, but once again, the map 6, the 6th map, has turned half the scoreboard around again. And choose Revolution. So here we have our final result. Where am I gonna end up? Drum rolls. What am I doing? Ah, there you go. Okay, so I tabbed out already. Because I couldn't believe my eyes that I actually got 6th. Because when you think about it, it is actually a miracle that I got 6th after having died on map 1. That is a miracle and a half. But maybe in hindsight, it was good that I died in lap 1 and not in lap 5 or something. Because it gave me at least the opportunity to come back. And I did it. So Carl Jr. wins the step with 80 points. He can pretty much just retire at this point. He can uninstall Mania Planet or drive backwards. He will still be first. Scrappy with 71 points. This is super nice. And I get 3rd. I get 3rd after having lost my points on map 4. Unbelievable. To be quite fair, I don't feel like this 3rd place and the 21 points are deserved for how I played. Of course, I had good pace on the maps where I didn't make a mistake, but I just made too many mistakes. And looking at self-critical me, I'm just not happy with it. Of course, I got 3rd. Of course, I got 21 points. That's amazing and all, yes. but I still feel like there was A, more room for improvement, and B, I didn't play to my standards. But hey, that's what it is. Aurel gets 17, Marcin and Matt get 14, Pack with 11, sorry, Papu with 10, Massa 5, Tween 5, Kappa 4, Brand 4, Coco 3, Spam 3, and then Rollin and Revolution, the 2 players for Orgulus, getting no single points out of this. That's also pretty ass. So I'm not sure if at some point you will be able to see the league ranking. Yes, Discord.
Listen to your coach.
Shut up, Virtual.
Junior, but
yeah, here's the final score after step 3. So Carl Jr. has almost 1 million points at this point, 191 points for him, and I am second in the TrackMania Grand League, 97 points. After Kappa lost all his points on the last track, he wasn't able to benefit from this at all. And yeah, I went up to second with 97 points. Kappa 87, Scrappy 83. This was such a good step for him. Aurel 62, still very well in the race. Papu 56, Tween 43, Pack with 40. Then we have Massa on the right half of the scoreboard, 31 points. Matt with 21, went up a good amount of position here. Marcin with 20, Spam with 18. This should have been a 3-digit number, man. Coco with 12, Bren with 10, Rolden with 9, and Revolution with 7 after step 3 of the TrackMania Grand League. That will be it for the recap, and I am very looking forward to step 4, where I will hopefully get some more points than 20. Even though 20 is good, but I want more.